The San Francisco Municipal Railway Company, or MUNI for short, operates multiple types of public transport in the city, including 3 that run on rails. The light rail metro trains, the electric heritage streetcars, and the iconic cable cars. The cable cars came into being in 1873, and some routes remain in operation to this day because it is the only rail system that can cope with San Francisco's many steep hills, some over 20% gradient. The system was designed and built by a Scot named Andrew Halliday. His father had invented and patented the wire rope that runs under the street. The southern terminus for the cars was at the junction of Powell and Market Streets, where there were frequently long queues of tourists. There are 2 different types of cable car, single-ended and double-ended. The single-ended ones can only be operated in one direction, and so they have the added interest of a turntable operation being required at each terminus. Once the car is on the turntable, the driver sets the brakes and jumps off to assist the conductor. The whole turnaround is done manually with well-timed pushes from a team obviously very familiar with the much repeated process. The queue was quickly reduced because each car can carry 60 passengers, half seated and half standing. The external board was popular and was not perhaps as dangerous as it looked because the car's maximum speed is 9.5 miles per hour, as dictated by the constant speed of the underground cable. This is one of the larger double-ended cars which run on the California Street line. At its terminal, the driver simply changes to the other end of the car. Confusingly, it advertises Pier 39 attractions, although its route does not go anywhere near there. There is a manned control box where California and Powell lines cross. The beating heart of the network was in the central powerhouse, which incorporates a cable car museum. Originally the system was steam-powered, but there are now multiple 750 horsepower electric motors driving the 4 sets of 14 feet diameter winding wheels, labelled as being for Powell, Mason, California and Hyde lines. The longest cable is about 4 miles in length. There was an explanation of the ingenious grip mechanism that allows the car's operator to engage or release the cable as required. On the street you can hear the cable running through the centre slot. There are multiple inspection plates along the track for maintenance crews. San Francisco really is an uphill and downdale place. The city has more than 40 named hills. As the tracks head down the Russian Hill to the harbour, both the Powell and Mason lines have views across the bay to Alcatraz and Angel Island. For hills, there are multiple braking systems available. The gripman has 3 and the conductor an additional one for the rear wheels. Of course, gripping the cable tightly also acts as a brake in itself. This is Hyde Street, and it has the steepest grade on the system at just over 21 degrees between Bay and Frisco streets. When the cars arrive at the north terminus of the Hyde Line, they again require a bit of manhandling. While the car is being turned, the underground cable is also being turned to go back on itself, going round a 10-foot sheave or pulley wheel housed in a large bit. The cable cars are listed in the United States National Register of Historic Places, which is an official list of district sites, buildings, structures and objects deemed worthy of preservation for their historical significance. Just beyond the cable car terminus is the Maritime National Historical Park, which is another entry in the Register of Historic Places. The Balaclutha is a square-rigged ship which was built on the River Clyde in Scotland in 1886. She traded extensively around the world until 1930. Beside her is the Eureka, a vehicle and passenger ferry that served the Golden Gate crossing before the bridge was built. San Francisco also has 2 lines running vintage electric streetcars using overhead power cables. Although Mooney has a collection of tram cars gathered from all over the world, the ones normally seen in service are the type built to the American PCC standard in about the middle of the 20th century. Interestingly, some variations have a second set of high-level windows for the benefit of standing passengers. Their liveries varied, representing the many American cities where they have served.